minutes, guys, okay?
Sure. First of all, the ruling this morning from the European Court of Justice coming through that Britain doesn't need to seek permission to withdraw Article 50 if it came to it. How do you see that?
Well, look, I mean, I think it was being predicted last week, so I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. And Britain's future is a matter for Britain. So I think it's expected legally. That was the advice coming through last week, and it's been confirmed again today.
Tell me about, for you, the message that you would have to British parliamentarians tomorrow, given the magnitude of the vote. What your thoughts would be to those thinking about the importance of going for Theresa May's deal or not?
Well, I mean, first of all, we, of course, respect the sovereignty of the British Parliament. We always have, and we continue to. But Ireland is watching closely, of course we are, because the decisions that Britain makes has a huge impact on our country as a close neighbour. And so we'll watch very carefully. The Irish view is that we have been in 2 years of negotiation. That has resulted in a withdrawal treaty that involves compromise on both sides. But this was a very hard-won compromise, both for the United Kingdom and for the EU. It enables a managed and sensible exit from the European Union of the United Kingdom. It deals with a lot of sensitive and a lot of complicated issues and tries to find a middle ground that is good for the United Kingdom, that allows it to leave the European Union in a way that follows through on the referendum vote across the UK. But it, of course, recognises that there are EU concerns as well that need to be accommodated in that regard. And that is why we're saying that the deal that is there, which is a deal between the UK and the EU, is not going to change. Particularly the legal language of the withdrawal treaty. And I hope people will see it for what it is, which is a fair, balanced document that deals with the complexity of a country the size and an economy the size of the United Kingdom's leaving a union that it's been part of for 45 years.
Very brief final point. Of course, we had the former European President of the European Commission, Romano Prodi, on the BBC recently saying that if it's a no, the EU must have to renegotiate, and that the big bugbear at the moment to many that may say no tomorrow is singularly the backstop issue, and that there should be concessions, or Boris Johnson says no backstop at all. Is Romano Prodi right that if it's a no tomorrow, they could force the hand of you and the rest of the EU members, and that you will have to talk about more concessions to the backstop?
No, I don't think he is right. I think it's been very clear across the European Union from the leadership in all the countries that have commented, but also from President Tusk and Juncker, that the deal is the deal. It's taken 2 years to put together. It's a fair deal for both sides. It protects, from an Irish perspective and from a British perspective, peaceful relationships on the island of Ireland. The backstop was never and is not an offer from one side to the other. It was a negotiated solution that both sides signed up to, the EU and the UK. And it is there for good reason. It is a last resort insurance mechanism that only kicks in if we are unable to resolve the border issues through negotiating a comprehensive future relationship, which everybody believes is possible. But it is a fallback position that protects relationships on the island of Ireland, which people shouldn't take for granted, given the very difficult and sometimes tragic history on the island of Ireland. And so the backstop is important. It's about protecting peace and stability and normalisation that has built up over 2 decades since the peace agreement. Unfortunately, a lot of the commentary which has been emotive and inaccurate in relation to the backstop coming out of Westminster has created the backstop as something that it's not. This is simply an insurance mechanism that kicks in if all else fails to protect peace and stable relations on the island of Ireland, and that is the way it should be seen.
Tony,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.